Return on ad spend. It's your bottom line, it's what your stakeholders care about, and it can be one of the hardest metrics to improve. We see all the time foreign brands coming into Japan, and about 97% of them are actually underperforming in Japan in comparison to the global market. Why is this? We think there are two main reasons. The first is that brands may not always be fully leveraging all of the digital advertising tools that are at their disposal. The second is proper localization. You always have to make sure that you are localizing to the local market, and that is especially important in Japan. So let's dive a little deeper, particularly for Meta, on how to raise your return on ad spend in Japan.
All right, so before we even jump into the ads, you need to realize that there are two absolute fundamentals of every successful Meta ad strategy here in the Japanese market. One of them being the masterful localization, and another one, the conversion rate optimization. Once you have those bases covered, you can move into your Meta ads targeting. Okay, so for Meta ads, it is crucial to find the right balance between retargeting the existing audiences that you have and targeting the new clients and customers here in the Japanese market. For targeting new audiences, we usually recommend creating broad or open types of campaigns where you only specify a couple of details like age, gender, or location, but you leave out all the other details for the Meta machine learning algorithm to figure it out and optimize the targeting for you. For retargeting, our top recommendation is usually to stack those warm audiences on top of each other in one campaign to, again, gather the data and feed that data into the algorithm and allow you to get the best results and best return on ad spend that you possibly could. Your second option, at the opposite side of open targeting and Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, is a dedicated interest-based targeting. Many advertisers skip that part, but we believe there's still a role that this targeting can play in our strategy, especially initially when you want to get some quick results and good ROAS. It can give you some quick wins here in the Japanese market, but our recommendation for this one is going to be to really layer those interests strategically. For example, put your luxury fashion interest along the frequent buyer type of behavior together into the one audience, which can really produce you some great results in the short term, and then in the long term, you can scale into the broad campaign.
Now that everything's set up, the next thing that you need to do is optimize your copy and your creatives. So there's a couple kind of psychological hooks that you want to be thinking about when you're doing this for the Japanese market. For example, Japanese consumers tend to be a little more uncertainty avoidant than consumers in other markets. So how to combat this is you're going to want to include as much product information upfront as possible and to really leverage social proof. So get those reviews, get anything that you can that's going to help build that trust in the Japanese market. That being said, always test your creatives. We've had examples where we had two creatives that were 90% the same, where they performed completely differently. So for example, we once had one that was a little edgier and then one that was slightly more minimalist. Everything else was the same, just the actual visual part of the creative was a little bit different. The one that was a little more minimalist actually performed 30 times better with 30 times more purchases than the slightly edgier one. So even these really small differences can make a massive difference in performance. The way that we like to test is through dynamic creative testing. So what we do is we essentially take multiple different elements and we put them into the same ad, and then we let the algorithm do what it does best and test on a broad audience. After testing this for a couple days or maybe a week, we're able to then see what elements are performing the best. We take those elements and then we put them into our business as usual campaign and keep those running longer. By doing this data-driven approach, we're able to find what is going to resonate the best in the market the fastest, and then leverage that later for higher ROAS down the road.
All right, so once you figure out your A/B testing approach and creative testing strategies here in Japan, and you layer that with an approach to cold and warm audience targeting, this is the time when you tie it all together with a masterful localization and conversion rate optimization. All those things combined should allow you to reach your target ROAS goal here in Japanese market. If you like this video, give us some thumbs up and talk to you soon.